Distinguished guests, dear friends from all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, good day. In 2019, the United Nations General Assembly resolved to designate August 22nd as the International Day commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief, in the hope that this day will help to diffuse hate crimes relating to religion or belief, focus the world's attention on solving the emerging global issue of intolerance and violence based on religion or belief against individuals in an empathetic and tolerant manner, and unite states to implement more effective measures to safeguard freedom of religion and belief, as well as to recognize the importance of providing victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief with appropriate support and assistance. Freedom of religion or belief is a fundamental human dignity and human right, firmly anchored in international human rights law, and a cornerstone for inclusive, prosperous, and peaceful societies. These rights are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and several international human rights covenants. Everyone has a right to peacefully pursue his or her own beliefs without any form of deprivation, discrimination, or oppression. The state must recognize the religious diversity with its obligation to guarantee freedom of religion and belief and related exercises. Religious belief is the subjective response of human beings to the universe, heaven, earth, and destiny. Zen says, life and death are significant, while unpredictably swift. In the short span of their lives, human beings long to understand life and death and to find the meaning of life. Human beings confess their fragility and anxieties for the assurance of religion and hope to find eternal joy, freedom, wisdom, and serenity through religious belief. Religious beliefs provide solace to human beings and lead to spiritual reliance. Religious beliefs guide mankind to reflect, to change, and purify oneself, and to seek a higher and more sublime spiritual status in the depths of their minds. There is a saying in the Book of Documents, 大语魔, that states, the human heart is in danger. The willingness to cultivate is too slight. Only with determination and dedication will we be able to achieve the right balance. This wise saying illustrates that human heart is dangerous and unsettled, and the Tao heart, that is, the willingness to engage in self-cultivation and the heart of safeguarding moral values, is subtle and difficult to discern. Only through sincerity and dedication can we carry out the unbiased and upright way. Tao heart is reliant on the conscience we all are born with. The human heart is tempted with all kinds of desires, letting the five poisons of greed, hate, ignorance, arrogance, and doubt sneak into their hearts, which cause all kinds of conflicts and contradictions in human beings. We need to be guided to return to balance by conscience. Conscience, freedom, and human rights are the fundamental values of religion and belief. Conscience is the purest essence of the human mind. Freedom is the most original state of the human mind, and human rights is the natural right of human beings to defend their conscience and freedom. The good thoughts and good deeds based on conscience will guide people to respect and protect human rights. Their conscience be the ultimate guide for everyone's behavior and obtain the freedom of mind. This is a fundamental value that the people who yearn for world peace, whether religious or not, are keen to realize. In its resolution designating the International Day commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief, The General Assembly reaffirmed the purposes and principles enshrined in the Charter of the United Nations and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In particular, the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. States should not only respect people's right to freedom of religion and belief, but also eliminate the threat of violence and persecution based on religion or belief. The governments must act more to promote inclusion, diversity, tolerance, as well as interfaith and intercultural dialogue. The international community must unite to counter hatred with messages of love and peace, to protect all victims of violence, and to prevent discrimination and violence. By utilizing conscience as a foundation to build up shared values through mutual trust and understanding, we will be able to establish a culture of peace with love and conscience. Regrettably, instances of persecution of the freedom of religion or belief by the state still are too frequent. In modern society, tax laws are deployed as a tool of persecution in many cases, such as Tao-Tze case. The Tao-Tze case was fabricated by the illegal and abusive prosecutor at the beginning and is an unjust case that should not be prosecuted or taxed, as was ruled by the nation's Supreme Court. However, the sacred land intended for a cultivation center was illegally auctioned off and confiscated by the state, harming the due course of Taijimen, as well as violating the freedom of religion and belief stipulated in the International Declaration of Human Rights and the two covenants. And Taijimen Shifu and Di-Zi have been deprived of fundamental human rights, such as right to select cultural life, equality, and non-discrimination, and effective remedies. I have taught my Di-Zi to distinguish between right and wrong, true and false, good and bad. Even in the chaotic world, they have to keep calm with their hearts, act with conscience, help others, and not be troubled by the persecution they have suffered or daunted, and stop caring for the world with their pure hearts. They will not cease doing good deeds with all sincerity and conscience, or full-heartedly praying for a peaceful world and a sustainable earth. On this special day of commemoration, there is once again call on governments around the world to awaken their consciences, and on civil organizations and people from all walks of life to unite and work together to realize the freedom of religion and belief and the protection of human rights. Let's continue to stand in solidarity with those who are being persecuted for their religion or beliefs, to rectify injustice and to fight for justice. Together, we will be able to build a world free from the fear of persecution for our beliefs, full of love and peace, where all things live in harmony and prosperity. May love, conscience, peace, and freedom of belief be with us forever. We pray for no more disasters, pain, or suffering, and a peaceful world.